Hi, I'm PrepperMark, and today I want to talk to you about gas versus propane for long-term storage. Now, there's pros and cons with each of them, but myself, I prefer propane. Simple fact is, propane has an indefinite shelf life. Gas shelf life's about a year. Now, the problem to me with gas is, if you let it sit in your gas tank or even in the container, about a year and it goes bad, even with treatment. And the treatments you can get, you got to spend extra money for. And most of the treatment says, please drain gas tank before using. So why would I want to spend several dollars for some sort of treatment for my gas when they're suggesting you drain your gas tank anyhow? That just don't make sense to me. Another bad thing about gas for me is that when they started to do ethanol, I really didn't know much about it. I was all for ethanol. I wanted to get rid of the Arab oil, the less reliant we were on that, the better off we would be. So I just thought this was a good way to, sort of wean ourselves off of some of that. Well, the problem with that is, though, I found out, is you get less gas mileage. Now, I was one of the last ones to go and get the ethanol treated gas. There's still gas stations in my area that I knew of where it was 100% gasoline, no ethanol added. And the problem I had was with ethanol, I have a Toyota Corolla. And my Toyota Corolla gets around 35 miles a gallon, which is really great. Now, that's with regular gas. Now, with the 15% ethanol, that drops down to 30 miles per gallon. So to me, that's costing me money. That's like paying $3.75 for a gallon of gas, but only getting $3 worth. It just didn't make sense to me why they want to make a gas that, didn't really benefit you. And so the other problems with ethanol is it absorbs water. So if you have, like my motorcycle sitting out there, you can get condensation in the gas tanks, and that ethanol will absorb it, and then that all gets into your carburetor and rest your engine. I know there's a lot of trouble with like power boats and jet skis that if you don't add the additive, because you're right along somewhere where there's water, it absorbs the water vapors, gets in the engine and ruins the engine. So you gotta add the additive. So there now, in a situation like that, that's jumping the price of gas up even more. So this don't make sense, put the ethanol in it. Now, I have, two vehicles here, and I keep about 50 gallons of gas stored. And what I do is whenever I need gas, I'll take one of my gas cans here, empty it into my vehicle, and then go to the gas station and fill a couple of them up when I get a couple empty ones, and keep rotating my gas so it stays somewhat fresh, and I have a supply on hand in case anything happens. Now, and it hits the fan situation, I'm not really relying on vehicle that much. If something really bad happens, you may not be able to use your vehicles. So I'm not putting a lot of thought of using my vehicle, so that's why I stockpile about 50 gallons of gas. And if I had my choice, I had the money, I have to change towards the natural gas. To me, that's just the better thing. Now, with propane, you can take and propane will last forever. The problem you're going to have with propane is your tanks. Your tanks will eventually go bad. Now, you can get, I'm going to say, at least 10 years out of a propane tank if it's taken care of properly. You may even be able to get 20 years out of a propane tank. The only thing you really have to worry about is resting. Now, where it rests from the outside in or the inside out, and they get a weak spot and spring a leak, then you're in big trouble. But usually, like I said, I have propane tanks, and I was 15 years old without a problem. So I'm not sure how long they're really rated to last, but I'm going to say, in my opinion, like 10 years without a problem. So, you know, that's one of the benefits. Gasoline, like I said, even if you treat it, it only has a shelf life of a year. And then, like we said before, with the treatment, they'd recommend you drain your gas tank, put fresh gas in before you run your vehicle or anything else. Another thing with gas, power equipment, small power equipment. It's ruined the engines on that. You have to keep that gas really fresh. I know, I think it's my Skill chainsaw. They told me if I let the gas sit there for a couple of days in the gas tank, to dump it out and put fresh gas in. Now, I don't use a chainsaw on a regular basis, and I don't want to go buy a gallon of gas, put the oil in there to treat it, then, you know, use a tank full for my chainsaw, then dump, you know, 3/4 of a gallon away. That's stupid to me, you know. And it's kind of funny, you go down there and get 75 cents worth of gas too. Heck, you run more gas out of your vehicle getting the gas you need for your chainsaw. Weed eater. Now, I did have a weed eater here not too long ago. It went bad because the gas eventually made it bad. And then gas, like my motorcycles, they'll sit over the winter time. I start them up every week just to keep everything going. But if you let them sit long enough, your lawnmower, stuff like that, generators, then gas will turn to varnish and gum up your carburetors. With propane, you don't have that problem. You know, like I said before, with a gas tank, it can get moisture in there and rust out your gas tank, and then it can start chipping or flaking and get down into your carburetor, fuel injection. You rust your tank out from the inside, then you have that to deal with. You have to get a new gas tank. Propane, you really don't have any of that because the only tank you have is the propane tank itself, and it's all sealed up. The only way moisture can get in is when they're filling it up with propane. Another thing is, they make conversion kits now for everything, just about. I know they got conversion kits for lawnmowers where you can use propane. Now, if you have a push-type lawnmower, they make smaller tanks. I guess that'd be the way to go, get like the 2-gallon tank. They make propane conversion kits for your generators. And that's what I want to do to my generator right now, is change it from gas to propane. Because my generator's sitting out there with half a tank of gas, get moisture inside the gas tank, letting that gasoline sit in the carburetor. And if I don't go out and start it up every month, run some gas through there and put some fresh gas in, then I have a chance of gumming it up. Now, you could do like they suggest, drain everything out, put a little bit of oil down your spark plug hole and do that route, but you know, that's a pain in the butt too. Bad part about a generator is you may use it once a year, it may sit there, you may not use it for 2 or 3 years, you never know. But with all my equipment, my motorcycles, everything, I go out and start everything up on a regular basis just to make sure everything's gonna be in running order when I need it, which, you know, you should too. If you got a generator, you should start it up every month just to make sure it's in running order. Now, the nice thing about the propane conversion kits for the generators is that they take in, you can use propane or gasoline. I'm not sure how it works, I forget. I guess there's just a little lever you might switch there or something like that. So say if you just wanted to use regular gas, you could use regular gas, or say if something would happen and you have to switch over to propane, you can run propane through it, you know. You don't have to tear it completely apart, put it back the way it was, run gas in it, and then tear it back apart, put the conversion kit on to run propane. You can do both at one time. Now, my generator, I can't do that. I got a Honda EU 3000, I think it is. It's a real quiet generator. Expensive, cost me around $2,000. Only 3,000 watts, not very powerful, but and it hits the fan situation. I'm not really planning on using the generator. When Y2K hit, it was funny. Everybody went out there and bought these generators, and all I could think of, where are you getting the gas to run these generators at, you know? If everything goes down, you're not going to be able to go to your local gas station and get gas. Yeah, you can get in the tanks and siphon some out, but that's going to be a dangerous thing to do. Plus, there's going to be thousands of other people trying to do that too, so that's just going to be chaotic. So to me, it's just ironic, you know. My way of thinking, if it hits the fan, go back the old way of living. Now, like I said, I got a generator out there, and my philosophy for my generator is more or less going to be able to run my refrigerators, run my deep freeze, and I have a plan where I might do that 4 hours a day just to keep them good and cold. Like my deep freezer, if I run that 4 hours a day, that would last for 24 hours. So if I do that every day, I can make what gas or propane I'm using for my generator last a long time, and that means I can technically have my deep freeze hold food, you know, 6 months or more. So that's my plan as far as plugging it in and watching TV and running this, running that, and a hits fan situation. You know, maybe once a week, maybe plug in the TV and the surround sound system, DVD player, watch a movie, you know, like a Saturday night, a special occasion. But on a regular basis, no, I'm not going to do that. Like I said, my generator is going to be mainly for emergency use and keep my refrigerator and my deep freeze as cold as possible with the least amount of run time for my generator. But now let's get back to what I do. Now anyhow, like I said, you get the conversion kits. They make conversion kits for lawnmowers. They make them for generators. I'm not sure what wood splitters use. If wood splitter use a gas oil combination, you can't use a propane for that. But if it just runs off of regular gas, then you could probably find a propane conversion kit for log splitter. But like I said, that's what I'm doing. I think in a way, propane's a lot safer to store. It's in a more heavy-duty container. This one, say if I had this sitting in my shed, say one of my motorcycles would fall over on it. With the pressure of the motorcycle, could pop one of the caps off. I could have gasoline spilling out in my shed. You know, open the door, cause some static electricity spark, and next thing I know, I blow up me and my shed. So I just think they're a more safer container for storing for a longer period of time. Now you might say the weight of it. Now the weight isn't that much different. Gasoline weighs 6 pounds per gallon. Propane weighs 4.2 pounds per gallon. So everything considered, this gas can with 5 gallons of gas in it weighs in the neighborhood of 32 pounds. Alright, that's 30 pounds for 5 gallons of gas, plus about 2 pounds for the empty container. Now propane, like I said, weighs 4.2 pounds per gallon. But you cannot put a full 5 gallons of propane in a 5-gallon propane tank. You can only put in about 4.4 gallons. And the reason I know this is I get my propane by the gallon, so when my tanks are empty, I take them over there, watch them fill them up, and you get about 4.4. Once in a while, you get about 4.5 gallons in the tank. But now, that was, like I said, that weighs 4.2 pounds a gallon. I think that comes around to like 18 pounds, about 19 pounds to fill up your propane tank with propane. And then your propane tank empty weighs about another 18 pounds. So that's 37 pounds altogether. So it's only about 5 more pounds of what the 5-gallon gas can weighs. Now you can also put more gas than 5 gallons in the 5-gallon gas can, but you got to remember when it gets warm out, that gas in there expands, the fumes expand. I don't know if you've ever seen a gas can sitting out in the sun. It looks like it's about ready to burst. It's all swelled up. So that's why they suggest, even though it holds more, when you put 5 gallons in your gas tank or gas can. Now, another nice thing about propane tanks is you can get different size propane tanks. Like I said, you can get a little 2-pound tank for a strap-on lawnmower and get a conversion kit for that. That'd be the best way to do it. You can get 100-gallon tanks. Now, you can get 250-gallon tanks. You know, I don't think there's really a size limit on propane tanks, but the difference between a 100-gallon tank and anything bigger is you cannot have it next to your house. If you get anything bigger than a 100-gallon tank, then you have to have it, I think it's 50 feet away from your house. There's laws around here. Now, the nice thing about the 100-gallon tank, you can put 100 of them around your house and all connect them, you know, but you put anything more than a 100-gallon tank out there, it has to be 50 feet away from the house. And that's another thing, you know. You could have, if you wanted to heat your house with propane and you wanted to stockpile propane, you could get like 10 tanks out there, have them all filled up, and they'd be good to go. If they're nice new tanks, that'd be 10 years. You have enough propane to heat your house for 1,000 gallons of propane. Probably heat my house probably for about 2 years. I'm going to say about 2 years I could get out of 1,000 gallons of propane. So, well, and then they're not actually 100-gallon tanks either. I think they only put like 85 gallons in the tank to allow for expansion, stuff like that. They cannot put a full 100 gallons in. I think here they only put 85 gallons in. I know some places, I think I read where they will hold 95 gallons, but around here they only put 85 gallons in. Now, the weight of those, I think the tanks yourself, I'm not sure, completely sure about this. I think propane tanks yourself weigh around 290 pounds. And then, like I said, the propane weighs 4.2 pounds per gallon. So I'm going to say roughly you're looking at over, I'm not going to do this real good, but over 500 gallons weight for each tank. Now, the thing to do if you're going to go that way is you need to make sure they're up on blocks and not sitting in the dirt, because they sit in the dirt, they're slowly going to sink in the ground, and it's going to be wet down there, and your tank's going to start to rust at the bottom, and that's going to shorten the life of them. So you don't want to do that. You want your tanks to last as long as possible. So you do like they do around here. You get a tank in here, they put them up on blocks, keep them up off the ground. Now, the bad side to storing that much propane is, basically when you call your propane company up, they'll bring a tank here for you for free as long as you buy the propane. And usually the way that works is, if it's a 100-gallon tank, you got to buy 100 gallons of propane per year to have that tank for free. Now, if you're going to stockpile that for a hits-the-fan situation, then you're not going to buy 1,000 gallons of propane a year. So you have to come up with the alternative. Now, I read somewhere where you can rent propane tanks for $50 a year. But you get 10 tanks, that's $500 a year. That's quite expensive. But you also have the option of buying a 100-gallon tank. Now, 100-gallon tanks, last time I price checked them, are like $650 a piece. Now, that's expensive, and it's not going to be in everybody's budget. I know if I had the money, I would buy a couple big 100-gallon propane tanks to sit out there. But the nice thing when you own your own tanks is you get a better price on propane. That's something else, price of gas versus price of propane. Price of gas right now around here is $3.70 a gallon. Propane's $3 a gallon. Propane's been $3 a gallon now for last year at least. But if you have your own tanks, then you get a better price on propane. Say if it's $3 a gallon delivered, because you have your own tanks, you can probably get it for $2.50 a gallon. So that's a better deal. Now you take $2.50 a gallon compared to $3.70 for gasoline, and even heating oil. I'm not sure what heating oil is, but that's up around that price too. So I'm just a fan of propane. Now I noticed there's a farm tractor store down the road here, and they have lawnmowers now that have propane cylinders on them. They're sort of like the ones you put on the forklift there. They take in one on each side. Generac, they came out with a generator now that has a propane tank. Use a propane tank in it, 5-gallon propane tank to run it. Now it's only 3,250 watts, but it's a great feature. Like I said, I'm all for propane compared to gas. So if you have, it's something really to think about, switching everything over you can to propane. And like I said, for the smaller stuff like your lawnmower, your generator. Now you could hook a 100-gallon tank up to your generator without a problem. But what I did is, instead of buying one 100-gallon tank, I bought 25-gallon tanks. Basically, 5-gallon tanks are $30 a piece around here. So 20 of them was $600. So that was the same price as a big tank. The nice thing about that is I can use one tank for, say, my lawnmower. I can use one tank for my generator. Anything that would happen where I wouldn't have to bug out, and I'm able to bug out on vehicle, then I could just throw all of those propane tanks in the trailer and take them with me. You know, like I have 3 propane stoves that I use, 2 propane barbecue grills that I use. So that gives me ability, right there's 5 tanks right there alone. So to me, it was my better option to go with the 5-gallon tanks and the bigger tank. Bigger tank, you know, isn't portable. I couldn't use them for my portable stove. Could use it for a generator. Like I said, if you wanted to wire your generator up to propane, or hook your generator up to propane, I should say, then you know, that'd be great using 100-pound or 100-gallon tanks. But for me, I want to keep everything portable. So I went with the 25-gallon tanks. Like I said, if it's the fan, I'm going to be a lot easier to grab 20, just say 37-pound tank compared to one, you know, 500-600-pound tank. Load up and you trailer the haul away. So, like I said, I'm just a fan of propane. I think everybody should. Like I said, if you have propane hooked up to your carburetor, you ain't got to worry about the gas coming up in there. When you start it, that propane's going to be good. That generator should fire right up no matter how long it's sitting, really. I mean, basically, you probably still should pop a spark plug, put a little bit of oil down in the spark plug hole, you know, just to keep stuff from rusting in there. But, you know, with propane, all you got to do is just hit the start button or pull on the start string, and it should start fire right up first couple pulls. Well, I'm PrepperMark. I want to thank everyone for watching. Take care, and God bless.